In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 MLB games happening on August 12, 2022. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets. As we provide these videos on a daily basis, I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 MLB games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Cleveland Guardians versus Toronto Blue Jays. The Cleveland Guardians will try to cling to their 4-game winning streak in Friday's visit to Rogers Center to take on the Toronto Blue Jays. After splitting even with the Houston Astros, the Guardians got a strong start to their road trip by sweeping the Detroit Tigers in a 3-game visit. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays dropped back-to-back losses to the Baltimore Orioles before having their 3rd game postponed. Cal Quantrill gets the green light to start on the mound for Cleveland in this matchup opposite of Toronto's Jose Berrios. Cleveland is 4-0 in their last 4 road games and 6-2 in their last 8 series opening games, while the under is 5-0 in their last 5 games against a team with a right-handed starter. Toronto is 9-0 in their last 9 games following an off day and 5-1 in their last 6 series opening games, while the under is 5-0 in their last 5 home games. Toronto's series finale on Wednesday against the Orioles was postponed due to weather. The Blue Jays were already scheduled to be off on Thursday, allowing them to come into this Friday series opener as rested as possible. Meanwhile, the Guardians have been battling a divisional opponent on the road all week without any sort of rest prior to heading up to Toronto. Going up to Canada has its own issues, as many teams have experienced this season. The country's vaccination restrictions prohibit certain players from making the trip. Cleveland only has one such player, but it's an important one: James Karinchak. He may not have the name recognition of Jose Ramirez, but he's a vital part of the relief pitching staff. The Guardians' bullpen has been one of its biggest strengths, especially as they did nothing at the trade deadline to help their lineup or starting rotation. That leaves Cal Quantrill and the rest of the bullpen out to dry against a star-studded lineup. Sure, they were able to grab some wins throughout the week, but that was against the Tigers, the league's lowest scoring team. The Jays, on the other hand, have scored the 2nd most runs in the American League, behind only the Yankees. That's great news for starter Jose Berrios, who is looking to bounce back from his recent start. While it was a no decision, Toronto lost that start. However, the Jays had won each of Berrios' 6 prior outings. Now that they're back at home and rested, they should be able to start up another streak on Friday. Given the prices on this game, there would be consideration for value on the Guardians. However, there's simply too much going against them in this spot. Several of those factors lie in logistics alone, let alone the Jays' deeper team. So the Toronto Blue Jays money line is our full game side pick. The Blue Jays, who average 4.81, should constantly drive in runs with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Alejandro Kirk, and the rest of the batting order making hard contact and driving the ball against Cal Quantrill and the rest of the Guardians' pitchers. The Guardians, who have scored 17 runs in their last 5 games, should run up the score against the Blue Jays pitchers with Jose Ramirez, Andres Gimenez, Josh Naylor, and the rest of the lineup crushing the ball and swinging for the fences to circle the bases at will, with both teams being carried by their lineups and the over covering in 5 of the Blue Jays' last 6 games. This game looks to be a high-scoring one from the first pitch. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Philadelphia Phillies versus New York Mets. National League East rivals will begin a big 3-game series on Friday night when the Philadelphia Phillies battle the New York Mets at Citi Field. Philadelphia currently owns a National League wildcard spot at 62-49 after taking 2 of 3 from the Miami Marlins, missing out on a sweep with a 3-0 defeat on Thursday as a -156 favorite. New York capped a sweep of the Cincinnati Reds with a 10-2 triumph on Wednesday to hit as a huge -312 favorite while extending their National League East advantage to 7 games at 73-39. This has been a one-sided matchup in 2022, with the Mets holding a 9-3 head-to-head advantage. Philadelphia is 8-1 in their last 9 road games and 4-1 in their last 5 series opening games, while the over is 4-1 in their last 6 games against a team with a winning record. New York is 15-3 in their last 18 games following a win and 20-6 in their last 26 games overall, while the over is 4-0 in their last 5 games against a team with a winning record. The Mets have won 8 of their last 9 games and 6 straight home games. They have been rolling offensively, scoring at least 5 5 runs in 9 straight games. Even though Suarez has pitched well for the Phillies, he was shaky in recent starts, giving up 6 runs in his last 3 starts. He is 1-2 against the Mets and gave up 3 runs in his last start against them, so expect him to have a hard time slowing them down in this game. The Phillies are also playing well, winning 7 games in a row while scoring at least 4 runs in 5 of their last 7 games. Unfortunately for them, they will struggle in this game because Scherzer has been dominant on the mound, giving up 8 runs in his last 7 starts, while pitching at least 6 innings in those starts. He won 5 of his last 7 starts against the Phillies, giving up 11 runs in those games, and won't have trouble keeping their offense in check. So the New York Mets to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Suarez has still been solid even in a slightly disappointing campaign thanks to his ability to keep the ball in the park. And Citi Field is a much better environment for pitchers than his home field in Philadelphia. The Phillies bullpen ranks 8th by WFR and has generally improved since the manager change as roles get sorted out. While the Mets own a top 10 mark themselves in reliever earned run average, a 104 WRC plus for the Phillies is a good number at the plate, but not having Harper's 164 WRC plus in the lineup is a huge blow, and Scherzer has shown he can completely shut down the best of the best. Both of these 2 National League East teams have had good seasons, but the Mets have a 10.5 game lead on the Phillies in the standings. New York has played very well in their last 26 games and has one of the best records in the MLB. New York is starting Max Scherzer, who has allowed 2 earned runs in his last 20.2 innings pitched. For the Phillies, Ranger Suarez has allowed 3 earned runs in his last 21.1 innings pitched. These 2 pitchers have been great in their last few starts. The recent play makes it really hard to separate these 2 teams, and as good as Max Scherzer's been overall, Ranger Suarez has actually been pretty good himself on the road. I think a bit of a pitcher's duel is brewing here. Even with 2 good offenses going at it, the excellent starting pitchers can't shut them down. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Detroit Tigers versus Chicago White Sox. The Detroit Tigers take on the Chicago White Sox as the American League Central foes begin a 3-game series on Friday evening. The Tigers will have Daniel Norris starting this one. Chicago will reply with Michael Kopech. The White Sox lead the season series by a 7-3 count. The Tigers are 16-37 in their last 53 road games and 7-23 in their last 30 overall. The White Sox are 4-1 in their last 5 home games and 0-4 in their last 4 during Game 1 of a series. The under is 10-2-4 in Tigers' last 16 overall. The under is 9-3 in White Sox last 12 overall. The Tigers are 7-22 in the last 29 meetings in Chicago and 15-39 in the last 54 meetings. Although Kopech's win-loss record doesn't look the best, he has been solid this season, and I expect him to continue his success against the Tigers. In the 10 games Chicago has played against Detroit this season, they have won all 7 of their games by more than 1.5 runs. Along with that, the White Sox offense has been able to hit Detroit's pitching well, which isn't a good sign as the Tigers will be going with a bullpen day. Norris has struggled, and I expect the White Sox are going to find plenty of success scoring here. The Tigers' offense has also really struggled coming into this game, scoring only 7 of their last 3 games, and it's not going to improve here. It's safe to say the Tigers are in worse shape here, and that includes seeing Daniel Norris on the hill with his 6.9 earned run average and 1.47 WHIP. Michael Kopech is at his best at home, where he has a 3.14 earned run average and .162 allowed batting average. So the Chicago White Sox to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The lack of offense from Detroit has caused a lot of low-scoring games that the odds makers have yet to adjust for. The under is 9-1-4 in Detroit's last 14 games, and that's primarily because they average just 2.75 runs per game in their last 8 contests. In 41 plate appearances against Kopech, the Tigers have a .194 batting average, which should make it even more difficult for them to score on Friday night. The White Sox suffered a huge loss with Tim Anderson heading to the injured list, and that severely impacted their offense since Anderson was the only consistent and achieving bat in their lineup. Chicago has scored 11 runs in their last 4 games, and I don't see them having an outburst of runs on Friday night without Anderson. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.